Hello again. My name is Monica Pitts and I'm with Make Create Design. And today I'm going to talk about ways to take donations online. Now, I love integrating any type of donor management system or email form to allow people to take donations on their websites. I love websites. I love websites because you actually own them and they're a space that you can control out in the cyber world. One of the only ones that you control. So I like to have people make their website their marketing home. That means that all the marketing that you do drives back into the website and that is your marketing home. So I like to take donations on websites. However, I understand that not all of you guys have a website. So we're going to talk about a few other ways that you can also accept donations online. The ways that we're going to cover today include taking donations on your website using a form, taking donations on your website using a PayPal button, taking donations on your website with a widget, taking donations physically on your CRM or with your donor management software, or taking donations on Facebook. So we'll talk through each one of those today. Now, here's the deal. If you have a website, you need to link to your donate page from the main navigation at the top of every page of your website. Don't hide it. Don't nest it in a drop-down. You could even put it in a fun little button in the top. And when I talk about the top navigation, that's that bar up at the top. It usually has your logo in the upper left, and then it's got all these links to your pages. That's your navigation, right? And so we don't want to hide the donate link under like some get involved or support us drop down. It needs to be like large and in charge right up there at the top so people can easily find it. If you want to put it underneath support and have it up at the top, that's totally cool. You just link them both to the same page. People are absolutely fine with that. And then you also want to share donation callouts throughout your website. So what's a callout? A callout is, it's kind of like an ad to say, hey, go donate. So a lot of the times it has a picture or the background color changes. It stands out from the rest of the content. You're going to have a button leading to the donate page. And then you will also have like a title or words that say, hey, go do this thing. So sprinkle them throughout the website as you're talking about the awesome work that you do. Common website systems that I'm going to explain right now how they work with donations are Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, and WordPress. Now, I know that there are so many other ways that you can build a website out there. I totally know. But these are the only four I'm going to talk about today, okay? So on Squarespace, there's actually a donate block. It looks like a button, and you can tie it into Stripe or PayPal or Apple Pay, and you can accept donations using that donate block. You don't have a ton of control over how it looks. It looks like a button. On Weebly, you can integrate with Weebly Store. Like if you already have a store set up, then that means that you could create a donate product. Also, they integrate directly with DonorBox app. I've never done it before, but they say that they do it. And then you can also embed anything from your donor management system or your CRM into Weebly. Now, the appearance of what your donation form looks like, it relies on the parent donation software. So it's going to look the way it's laid out and the way it's configured in your donor management system or in your CRM. And your payment gateways vary because you would set those up with your CRM or donor management system. Okay, so then there's Wix, and once again, you can get donations through anything that's embeddable. So you're going to have to set it up someplace else and then embed it in Wix. And the same thing applies with the way it looks and the payment gateways. Those are all dependent upon the system that you're using. Now, WordPress, and this is my favorite one, and that's why it's yellow. There are all kinds of different ways that you can take donations. There are these things that you can put in WordPress called plugins that extend the base functionality of your website. So the basic functionality of your website is like you've got a blog and you have pages, right? That's basic functionality. But then there's also plugins that allow you to do things like have an events calendar or have an email form. So they're pretty fancy. And so most of the email form plugins, I say most, I absolutely know that these two email form plugins, Gravity Forms and Formidable Forms, allow you to accept payment with them. And both of them are really easy to use, drag and drop user interfaces. I've worked with both of them. My favorite is Formidable, but Gravity works really, really well too. They integrate with Stripe and PayPal and Authorize.net. They work really good. GiveWP is really cool as well. Now, it is actually like a donor management system plugin that you install in your website, which is pretty neat because then you go to your website and everything is there and it all touches and it all works. But you still have to have a payment gateway for that too. And I will explain to you what a payment gateway is in a second, but ultimately it's going to be like PayPal or Stripe or Authorize.net, and you have to have one of those setups that way you can accept payments. Now, there are like 1,000 other ways that you can accept payments through PayPal or donations. And also any of those embeddable items through your donor management system or CRM, they all work in WordPress as well. Now, the forms are pretty cool. They're very highly customizable. GiveWP is like very, very functional, but it's less customizable for those forms. So if you're wondering how you're going to get very specific information from your donors, you would need to look to the donor management system that you use, or the and the way that they let you format those like form fields to gather information, because that's where your limitation would lie. Now, if you created a form separately through like Gravity Forms or Formidable Forms, you can gather whatever you want from people and put that as required fields for people to fill out and donate on your site. Now, your payment gateways, once again, vary. They vary based on the plugin that you use, because not all of them accept all payment gateways. So let's really talk through donations using a form. Now, what you'll need is a form builder. So that's like Gravity Forms or Formidable Forms. And you also need a payment gateway. Now, the payment gateway is the thing like Stripe or Authorize.net or Square. Those are all ways that you can accept payments online, and they all process at different rates. We'll look at that in a minute, but you have to have one of those set up. So the pros to using donations using a form is that it's highly customizable for design, and it integrates with most CRMs, and there are not monthly fees. So that's pretty cool. Now, the cons are that you have to figure out how to build the form and integrate it with your payment gateway and integrate it with your CRM. So sometimes it takes a little bit more technology to get through that. If you're going to take donations using PayPal or a Stripe button, all you need is a PayPal or a Stripe account and a little bitty like chunk of code that you copy and paste into your site. So the pros to using a PayPal or Stripe button to donate is it's very easy to integrate. You don't even have to have a website. You can literally send them out to PayPal or send them out to Stripe. And Stripe even integrates with Google Forms to allow you to accept payment or donations. And it's like easy for people to check out with PayPal if they have an account on it. So there's a nice barrier of entry removed. Now, the cons are that if you are using these buttons on your site, it will take people off of your site to make a donation because the form itself is not embedded in your site. It takes them to PayPal to make the donation. And people without PayPal accounts can sometimes get confused because they're not sure what to do, because it's like, hey, log in. And they're like, oh, I don't know. And you have to click a button before you can fill out your credit card information. So sometimes that confuses people. But honestly, if what you need is just something super simple, you can log into your PayPal or Stripe account and get the code for the button and paste it into your website and accept payments right away. Or you can just get it and put it in an email and it will take them out to make payments. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so now if you're going to take donations using a widget, what are you going to need? Well, you need to have a CRM or an account with a donation platform, right? With a donor management system. Oh, and sometimes you need a payment gateway too. Sometimes it's included in the donor management system or in the website that's allowing you to take these donations, and then other times it's not. So you just have to take a look at that. Now, a few that I reviewed were Harness, Give Lively, Dipjar, Givebox, and GoFundMe. And really, I just looked at these because I went on a Facebook page that is filled with nonprofits and looked up all the posts that they had made about their favorite CRM or donor management platforms. And these are the ones they said. So these are the ones I investigated. Now, Harness starts at about $99 a month. There's a 3% donation fee, so that's the processing fee, and it integrates with WordPress using Zapier, so it's not like specifically integratable into a system. Give Lively is free, and it processes between 0.8 and 3.5%, plus it has a 30 cent per transaction fee. This is a really cool system. Like, if I were going to try it, this would be the one I would start with. One of the things that's cool about it is it's charging you the actual processing fee for each credit card, because it doesn't cost them as much to process a debit card, that's the 0.8%, as it does an American Express or a business card, that's going to be the 3.5%, right? So that's pretty cool. And it's free, and there's all kinds of other services in there. So if you haven't picked anything yet and you're going to go with something that's not on your website, or maybe something you just embed on your website, I have not tried them, but they looked really cool. Just saying, go give them a look. And then we've got DipJar. It starts at $149 a year, so that's pretty cost effective too, at 3% or 3.5% processing fee plus a 30-cent per transaction fee. And they have a donate button on the site that opens in a light box. So it looks really nice and it feels streamlined, but it's still taking you out to the other side to process. Givebox.com is also free. Its processing fees also vary based on what type of card it is. So it's between 1.9 to 3.5%, and you can embed it on your site. This website was really weird. It was not easy to figure out what was going on. I had to do some Google searching to find these details. So it could be really cool. I just couldn't figure it out very easily because of the way their website was set up. Okay, so then we have GoFundMe, and it's also free. You have a 2.2% processing fee, and then also your 30-cent per transaction fee. And you can also embed it using a widget in your website. So that's cool. And it's neat because they will pick up a few campaigns and promote them outwardly. Now, GoFundMe is a little different than the rest of them over to the left, because it's actually like housing everything on this website and encouraging people to give right there. And you can also put it on your website. So that kind of gives it a little bit of a social media aspect. But yeah, so maybe one of those works for you, maybe not, but here's some options that you could start exploring. I'm not saying they're the right ones. I'm just saying that they're options. Okay, so the pros and cons of donations using a widget. So pros are that it integrates with your CRM seamlessly because it came out of your CRM. It's literally like embedded into it, right? You have a semi-customizable look depending upon the CRM. Usually they can let you pick like the colors of your button and a few other things, and it's pretty easy to set up. You're going to follow the directions. The cons are that you could have possible monthly or annual charges, and then there could potentially be less customization of your donation forms than if, say, you were doing it using your own custom email form using a form builder. So it just depends on what you need to get out of this transaction. How much information do you need? I found this really nice graphic on Givebox that talks about even more different things. And see, GoFundMe had different percentages when I went to that website than Givebox had on their website, showing what they actually take. But you might take a snapshot of this screen because it can let you know what some of the processing fees are and what the platform fees are, so that way you can make a good decision about which one might work really good for your organization. Okay, so now taking donations like physically on your CRM or in your donor management system. So the difference between this and the last one is, in the last one, you're going to log into your donor management system or CRM, and you're going to like follow the directions, and you're going to copy out some code. And then you're going to go over to your website, regardless of whether it's Squarespace or Wix or WordPress, and you're going to embed that code in your website. It's kind of cool because using that widget, you're basically looking back over to their website to take the information and process it. All right, now what we're talking about is like you're actually on that website. So you're not on your own website, you are on their website, right? When I say there, I mean the CRM or the donor management system. So what you're going to need to do this is you need a CRM or an account with a donation platform. And sometimes you do need a payment gateway because some of them do not have the payment gateway included. The pros to this is that it absolutely integrates seamlessly. It should be easy to set up because you're going to set up your platform and you're going to customize your page, and then you have your link, right? And you don't have to have a website. So if you don't have a website, this could be a great solution for you. Now, the cons are that if you have a website, you're going to take people off of your website to make a donation. So you're linking over to the other website. And sometimes it can confuse people because your website doesn't look the same as your donation page. And that can make people go, ooh, what's happening here? But sometimes they're used to seeing it. You know, in the instance of like Network for Good, they're used to seeing that page layout. And so they might not be put off by it at all. But it will not look the same as the rest of your site. And then you may have potentially less customization with your donation forms. It all depends on the platform. All right, so last but not least, taking donations on Facebook. So what do you need to do this? You need a Facebook page, you need to be a 501c3, and you need to be registered with the IRS and in good standing, or else they won't give you the money. Yep, there you go. So how does it work? Well, there's no recurring fees on Facebook. The processing fee is 2.6% plus 30 cents per transaction. And after you have it set up, it pays directly into your bank account through Meta every 2 weeks via ACH once you've reached $25 in donations. Now, if you don't want to share your bank information with Facebook, there are other ways around this. And I'm not going to explain them right now. I'm just going to explain this one because it makes a lot of sense to me. Meta is the company that does or owns the advertising on Facebook and Instagram. There you go. Now, there are some definite pros to donations on Facebook, accepting them. One is that peer-to-peer is really easy and your supporters can actually set it up themselves without you. They can set it up whenever they want. They can have donation campaigns that pay directly to you. It's really cool. And you can have a donate button on your Facebook page and your Instagram feed. So that's awesome too, because then people can donate where they're at. You can create live video with donate buttons. You can add donate stickers to your Instagram stories. And also, I mean, there's just the fact that there's tons and tons of people on Facebook, so it's easy to reach them where they are. Those are major pros. Now, the cons is that you can't link directly to the donate page on Facebook from your website. Like there isn't just a way to link right over there. And it's not super customizable. It just is what it is. And you can't embed it on your site. You don't always get all the donor information either. Sometimes they give it to you and sometimes they don't. So if your main goal is to build your donor database, that doesn't mean that you can't accept donations on Facebook. It means that you probably want to accept the majority of your donations through another way that you can gather donor information so you can reach out and contact them again instead of just accepting it on Facebook where they don't necessarily have to share their information with you. And Facebook is not going to integrate with your CRM, so you won't know if people donated or not. So it's not a CRM, friends, or a donor management system. It's just Facebook. Okay, so I did find a couple useful links for this information, and you can, you'll have the slide deck, so you can click on these, but the eligibility requirements, how to apply, payout methods and timelines, getting your transaction reports, and then there was like a free jumpstart course on how to start fundraising on Facebook. I read through it in like 20 minutes. It wasn't hard. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of nice information. So there you go. Links for you. Okay, so how do you choose the right method for you? Because I've been kind of like, well, if you need this, well, if you need that. So how do you do it? Well, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what assets do you have? So if you've got a website and you have a donor management system, then you would probably use a widget from your donor management system on your website because you have both assets, right? If you have a website but you don't have a donor management system, then maybe you look into doing something like adding a link with Square, because Square actually does a great job, and so does Stripe, of actually housing your donor information within their user interface. Now, it's not going to be super robust, but you can use it as a starting spot to see who has given you money and how much. So ask yourself, how do you manage your donor information? You want it to integrate. You want it to integrate. Do not having to go out and update it manually really, really stinks. You don't have time for that. So pick something that integrates. And then ask yourself, where are you most comfortable? If you're super, super comfortable working in Facebook, then that's a great place to send people for a campaign to make donations. But if your goal, once again, is to build your donor database and track all that information in one spot, then that might not be the right spot for you. And just realize that you don't have to pick just one. You could set up to receive donations on Facebook and receive donations out there, and you could also set it up to have them out on your website. It's okay. Like, you can have both. It's totally fine. Do both. Just make sure that when you're running a campaign, you very specifically tell people where they're supposed to go and donate. Not like, oh, well, you can go here, you can go here, you can go here, you can write a check, or you can do the happy dance. We're like, hey, do this thing. And the cool thing is, if you accept payment in multiple ways, you can always talk about that on your donate page, but you don't necessarily have to do it in your messaging. You're just sending them to your website, to the donate page, to explain the ways that they can donate. Okay, now your donation form checklist. What are all the things that you need to make sure that you have in your donation form? Suggest donation amounts and allow donors to choose their own amount. That's like in the perfect world. In the perfect world, you'd be like, donate $50, $100, $300, or choose your own amount. It gives people the freedom to pick how much they donate. Also allow your donors to choose a specific cause or project to donate, or to donate to your general fund. Some people don't want to do this. Some people feel like it's very democratic of them. It's up to you. This is a way to give your donors the choice of where their money makes an impact in your organization. Ask if your donors would like to donate an extra percentage to cover your credit card fees. This is awesome. Okay, this is really awesome. When we put this into Como Gives, our community's month-long year-end online fundraising campaign, we had over half of the donors cover their credit card fees. That was amazing, because that meant that much more money went right back to our nonprofits, because we just looked at those fees, right? They're always going to be someplace between 1% and 3.5% plus the 30 cents per transaction. It adds up, right? So allowing them to cover it is a great thing. So ask them. They probably will come through for you. Decide if you're going to allow recurring donations. And if you're going to do that, make sure that you choose your donation platform accordingly, because not all of them allow for that. That's my puppy. You can hear her down there shaking. Send an immediate thank you and success email to your donors, and include a receipt if you can. You definitely want to follow up with them and send them like a thank you letter as well. But a digital receipt is something that they can immediately know that the transaction is processed and not worry about it. But absolutely follow up with a thank you note as well. And then make sure that your donation form is mobile friendly, because people are on their phones and using the web. They totally are. I see it in every website that I review. So make sure it's mobile friendly. Test it. Like, literally open it up on your phone and make sure that you can use it. Because if you can't use it, then odds are pretty good your donors can't use it either. All right, so there you go, friends. Those are the ways to take donations online. You can do it on your website using a form. You can do it on your website using a PayPal button, or a Square button, or a Stripe button. You can do it on your website with a widget and get that code from your donor management system or your CRM and copy it and put it into your website. Or you can physically collect the donation on your CRM or through another donor donation like software or service. And you can also accept those donations on Facebook. And you know that the right one is the one that matches your assets and matches your goals. Okay, so there you go, friends. Now you know the ways to take donations online. All right, so once again, I'm Monica Pitts with Make Create Design. And until next time, go forth and market with purpose.